What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the live show. Welcome back to the season is over. We are in the Champions League. That was apparently the goal for the club. We did it, or we did it. We did it. We need to thank Atalanta for it because they beat Roma, which means Roma cannot overtake us anymore, and it's done. We are in the Champions League. So is Bologna, by the way. Unbelievable. But Bologna is in the Champions League. It's actually insane if you think about it. If you go through that Bologna squad, it's unbelievable. But they are in the Champions League, so credit to them, I guess. But we are in the Champions League as a club. We failed to do it ourselves against Salernitana. We had an opportunity to not rely on Atalanta a couple of minutes ago, but we failed to beat Salernitana, who are already relegated to Serie B, I think 4 weeks ago or something, who have 3 wins on the season, 2 wins, have 3 draws in the return leg, and somehow, some way, we found a way to not beat Salernitana, But really quickly on the Champions League, we made it because because Atalanta did their thing against Roma, so we are in it, which we desperately needed. It's not about. I know a lot of people will say, "Oh, we're not going to win the Champions League." That's extremely obvious that we're not going to win the Champions League. I think everybody knows we're not going to win the Champions League, but that's not the point, And I don't want to be that type of fan, because I remember when Arsenal were finishing top 4 for, what was it, 10 years straight under Wenger, and it became normal. It became like an achievement. It's not an achievement, top 4. However, the situation we're in as a club, financially, we need top 4. No matter if you're going to win it, if you're going to get embarrassed in Europe, we need that money to improve. If we don't have that Champions League money, no matter who the coach is going to be next season, if it's Allegri, if it's Palladino, Conte, Italiano, Thiago Motta, whoever, if we didn't qualify for the Champions League, we were screwed. We were screwed. We were talking about selling half the squad with half the squad. I mean, probably players included that a lot of you will want to keep. Half the squad can go. Maybe the entire squad can go at this point. However, we needed that Champions League money. It's done. It's just waiting to Wednesday now for the Copa Italia final. Obviously, want to win it. Chances are extremely slim at this moment in time. If you watch Atalanta game, I've watched it. And if you watch our game, which we all did, I think, there's no chance we're going to win on Wednesday. Like what we've seen today, there's absolutely no chance we beat Atalanta on Wednesday in the Coppa Italia final. But that's not even the most important thing right now. The most important thing is that money is secured and we can kind of move on to the new season. It's been a season that actually flew by and at the same time didn't flew by. Like football season wise, it's June almost. It's halfway through May. It flew by, but watching the games took ages. I was watching that game today, and I was not really into it. I wasn't really interested. When Santana took the lead, I was like, yeah, normal. Like that's actually not surprising or not shocking at all. When we scored that last minute, I was like, yeah, like there's no emotions involved in our results anymore right now, because it's the same thing over and over again. Like we talked about it today again. We can talk about players, which I will repeat for the 100th time. I don't care if each and every single player in this squad gets sold. I don't care. If the club can give me a better option for each of these players, I'll take it, because I don't care about these players. I care about the club. If they sell Vlahovic and they give me a better option, good. If they sell Chiesa and they give me a better option, good. If they do that with Bremer, good. But you need to give me a better option. I'm not gonna sell players, or I will not sit here and be like, yeah, I don't like. It's like I don't like Rabiot. But if they're telling me we are selling Rabiot and you get Rincon back, then I will be like, yeah, no. And that was an example to put it a bit over the top. But that's what I mean. I don't care about these players. If you tell me Vlahovic is crap, fine. Give me a better option and I'll live with it. I want to win. I care about this club. So I don't care about players. But what I do care about is that there's no style. Like we play Sanitana, and actually before the game, for the first time in ages, I think, I actually said a good 20 minutes ahead of the game. I had the TV on. Usually I don't do that this season because I just flip it on 1 minute before kickoff and I flip it off after kickoff. I was like, for the first time, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to listen to the pregame. And actually, Allegri spoke. I was expecting Giuntoli to speak, but it was Allegri. And he said, actually, Sanitana are a dangerous team right now. And I was like, let me look up their streak, because we were on a poor streak and they haven't won a game in these return legs. Not a single game did they win in this return leg. The moment he said, we need to be careful for Sanitana because they're a dangerous team, I was like, this is going to be a shit show. Because we go out on the pitch and we actually showed Sanitana respect. Unbelievable, but we did that at home. We didn't put any energy in that first half. Pace, quality, intentions, like absolutely nothing. And post game, he's talking about we had 6-10 good minutes. I'm like, you're taking the piss right now. Like you're actually taking the piss. You're talking about good 10 minutes in the first half against a team that has been relegated and actually was missing their best player in Candreva. And you're telling me that the 10 minutes, it's ridiculous at this point. It's actually ridiculous because that team in that first half reflected Allegri's comment pregame, where we showed Salernitana respect for no good reason at all. Like I don't get why, and we got dunked on in that first half. And actually, if it weren't for Chesney, that game we would have lost that game, and we should have lost that game maybe, purely based on how we actually approached that game. So we got away with it. And in the second half, I'm not going to praise him for making subs. I've spoken about McKennie. If you want to play McKennie, fine. Like Miretti disappeared for a month or so. Nobody knew what happened with Miretti. I'm still confused why he got benched. I never saw actually minutes, not even as a sub. Actually baffled. Kostic, rubbish all season. Somehow he got back in the starting 11. No surprise, he was rubbish again. I'm not going to praise him for the subs. Even towards the end, you're chasing a game. He pulls out Vlahovic for Milik, and Vlahovic was poor, but you need a goal, buddy. You need a goal. Are you making like-for-like subs? We got the goal in the end, not because of the strikers, but he does that every single week. It's obviously time's up for him. The way he speaks, we can talk about players, but man, he has no control on this group. He cannot motivate this group. He can not even bring the basics. Even if the quality is low, and even if we forget that we're actually playing a Serie B side today, the energy is not there. The mindset is not there. Coaching-wise, these 3 years have been horrible. They have been horrible. We do, like I said in my reaction, what do we do well? Let me know in the comments. We do not defend well. We cannot play out from the back. We cannot keep the ball. We cannot counterattack. Even our crosses are poor. We're not a good crossing team. For the amount of crosses we put in. We do absolutely nothing well. The talk that he actually improved youngsters or brought in youngsters is also BS. It's BS. He only plays the youngsters when he is with his back against the wall. Halftime, losing against Sanitana, embarrassing. Even he knew. And he chucks in Junior and Miretti, back against the wall. These players should be starting. Based on what others showed the last couple of weeks, these players should be starting. But he doesn't do that. He refused to do that. Somebody said on the comments, what happened to Diallo? No idea. No idea. And people are going, oh, he's shit. Nobody watched Diallo. How can you know he's shit? He might be absolutely rubbish, but we've not seen a single minute of Diallo. Not a single minute, not even garbage time minutes. Not even Sule against Salernitana a year ago type of minutes. Where he came in for 15 seconds and the ref blew the whistle. Not even that. There's so many things wrong right now. It's just good that the season is over. The Coppa Italia is what it is. The Coppa Italia is what it is. Like, I'm gonna watch the Coppa Italia without stress. No stress. Whatever happens, happens. I don't care about that. But this today, like, I've watched us play for 7 plays. I've watched us finish 7. And I'm not gonna lie, this is not being, oh, you're exaggerating. We played better football. It was more watchable when we were finishing 7 than this. And I'm not even joking. And we were poor. But at the time, that team was straight up garbage. So I was watching us finish 7 back to back seasons, but I was like, yeah, that team is rubbish. We should be 7 and we should be struggling like this. This team is not great, but holy hell, we are struggling against Empoli, Verona, Genoa, Udinese, Salernitana, Cagliari. Like, the list goes on and on and on and on. It's absolutely ridiculous. And the club is also to blame because they let it, like, they were actually playing with the future of this club. They were playing with the future of this club because they were allowing this to happen. They were allowing this to happen. You know, Miretti, again, he comes on. He needed to start because McKennie has been poor. McKennie has been poor for the last couple of weeks. So is Rabiot, by the way. But again, Miretti, he should be starting games right now. That the fact that he wasn't was already crazy. When he comes in, he impacts the game, different because he has quality on the ball. Not always comes off. I get it, but why do you need to wait when your back is against the wall? We've seen it so many times. And he made 3 subs right now because it's the end of the season. He knows it's gone. He needed to do something, and he did it. If this was mid-season, he just would have stayed the way it was. Even though you could have subbed every single player on that after it was 45 minutes. If that was mid-season, he was like, whatever. Just let's play it out. Same energy, same vibe, and you go again. But yeah. Hello, what's your name? If you can hear me. Hello? Yeah, what's your name? Excuse me? Wait, can you say something?
Am I audible? Can you
Yeah,
hear
you're
me?
in. Everybody can hear you. What was your name? Excuse me, I didn't catch that.
Shamil.
Shamil? Okay.
Yeah,
Where are you from?
I'm from Houston, Texas.
Okay, I think it's the first time you called in, if I can remember correctly. Um, yeah, man, the floor is yours. We qualified for Champions League, by the way, thanks to Atalanta. We couldn't do it
Yeah,
ourselves against a Serie B side, but you go. Like, you speak, whatever you want to say.
I guess I can say congratulations to all the Juve fans that we finally hit the finish line and made it to the Champions League. Um, it's been a long journey this year, but man, this has been stressful, like super stressful. And my question, I actually have a question, like, what's next? Like, yeah, let's hypothetically say we got Mota and we, well, I mean, a lot of fans are unhappy about the squad that we have, but what do we do? Like, do we sell? Do we buy? Like, do we have money to buy anybody? Like, we sell Bremer and what? We'll buy Coop Miners for 60 million. What about the rest? Like, what's going to happen? I
We
think, sorry, I think like the best, my own personal opinion is the best bet would be to be able to find a coach that would be able to utilize what we have currently.
we're gonna need to sell, right? Obviously, or and buy. Like, that goes hand in hand, basically. I don't know what's gonna happen. Actually, the good thing is there's a euro, so we will jump straight from this into transfer news. However, there's still a euro in between it, so it will kind of slow down the news, which is good because I think everybody needs a break after this season. I said in my intro, like, the season flew by, but it didn't at the same time. Like, it did, like, games. It felt like games took 180 minutes instead of at 90. Like, even today, Like I was watching, I was like, just blow the goddamn whistle. Even when we were 1-0 down towards the end, I was like, end this, like just end whatever this is, because it's all over the place. But we're gonna need to sell. Like the players are obviously at fault, but at the end of the day, like we've been watching this sport, I don't know for how many years. You cannot replace 20 players. You can replace one coach and a couple of players, but you cannot replace the entire squad. That's just what it is. Fair or not fair, that's just the reality of this sport. Like that's always how it's gonna be. No matter what. Even at a top company, if things are not going wrong, the guy at the top will get sacked first. It's just what it is. And players need to go. Obviously, a lot of them. Like even today, it was, like we're playing already relegated team. Like and things I've said about certain players were on full display today. A player like McKennie, when people are like, "Oh, he played well this season, give him 3.5." I'm like, no, like come on, like no. Rabiot, I don't care that he scored. He was absolutely rubbish. If it wasn't for Chesney, he had an assist for the 2-0. Like that's obvious, but you said where to go now. We first have the Copa Italia to play. Obviously, Bologna is secure Champions League as well, so things can go really quickly. Uh, actually, to be honest, this week. But coaching wise, what do you think this team needs? Does it need something like Conte? Like we know what it's gonna bring, or like Thiago Motta, where everybody's like, "Oh, it's one season. We're not so sure."
I personally think I totally agree with you because you mentioned multiple times that I'm also a supporter of not going back. We had Conte. He's a great coach, honestly. Yeah, although he didn't have too many accomplishments in the European football, but the the whole new scenario, new sequence of the game that he brought to Juventus was just magical. It's I think I like what Mota is doing currently, and I was just watching Atalanta game. Man, I'm super impressed by the team that Gasperini built. I think um, he's loyal to Atalanta, and with like the amount of resources that he had and the whole style of play that he's built in Atalanta is phenomenal. But I don't think he's gonna move out of Atalanta anytime soon. I think he's gonna be there for a long time. But I think giving a chance to Mota is currently our best bet.
Yeah, I
That's
don't.
one thing as far as the coach. But I wanted to bring up something about the players. I throughout the whole season, I've been in these comment battles with a lot of Juventus fans where they would like blame everything on the players and etc etc. But I think we do have comparably okay players. I know we don't have Mbappe, we don't have Toni Kroos, but we don't need those to win Salernitana, right? We don't need those to win Udinese, and we don't need those to like play a decent football. We have okay players, and we have significant amount of resources to be beating a lot of teams in Serie A. But like and then people talking about McKennie's having an amazing season and this and that, but I mean, yeah, he's better than last year or a year before that. But and the other thing is, McKennie went to Leeds United and then on loan, and he came back, and we immediately tried to sell him
Yeah,
somewhere, and then he became a starter. Like how? Like how is that even possible? And then I'm not hating on McKennie. I think he's a decent player, but it's not. Um, he doesn't deserve the praise for playing okay and not losing balls that often, and etc etc. But I think it's gonna be a very challenging for us in between the season to figure out what's next. And then I think we have a very, very poor management. I think people that are on top don't have any clue of what's going on, or they don't even. I doubt if they even understand football as much as they should do. You know, so I don't know. I guess that's my opinion. Yes, I would like Thiago Motta. I would like to try Thiago Motta.
That's that's like what you said. What the management is true, but like Juntli should be the guy who actually knows football. Like the others are finances. That's why I said 2 summers. You know, this one is it's tough. It's clear up. It's a new beginning, and then next season is like okay, how are you gonna readjust? Is it going well? Then okay, you build on it. Is it that is not going well? What do you need to do? Can you readjust? You know, and R&B comes is saying Juventini will be happy if we finish third and Mota comes in. I don't think anyone will be happy. Like I couldn't imagine. Like I want to win, but I want to see improvement. We're not gonna win next season, no matter who the coach is. It's just not gonna happen. Like there's a big gap. That's obvious. There is a gap. Nobody was expecting us to win this season, so I'm not gonna expect that next season if a new coach comes in. I'm not gonna do it. You know, I was not expecting us to do that with a coach who's been here for 3 years and has won in the past with us. I'm not gonna do that with a new coach. But I want to see improvement, playing wise,
We,
players wise, and also table wise, because we're miles off ahead of the top again, like last season, like miles. Points wise, it's I don't know how many points is it, 25, 20. Last season was 20. Like that cannot be the case. It's still Juve. It cannot be the case.
you know, when we analyze these things, we usually look at the data, and Giuntoli, he has a good resume. What he's done in Napoli, and with all these studs that he signed, what Kvaratskhelia or Osimhen, or like numerous of players for Napoli. So I have a strong belief in Giuntoli. I think he deserves a shot. Like last transfer season, it's kind of he came like towards the end, and then we still had Allegri and for like next 2 years, and now it's going to be very challenging. I think he should do some magic. Um, his At the end of the day, it's Juventus. We have a history, and it's not just a no-name club. And I think if we end up signing some no names from like Belgian leagues, like second division, people shouldn't be surprised. I strongly believe that it's if Juntale is onto something, I believe it's gonna be something good.
Yeah, I agree with that. Hanin, who's contradicting itself? Me? If it's me, let me know why and what
No,
I'm
no, no.
saying.
You're not contradicting. No, no, no. I didn't mention anything
No,
about
somebody in the
contradict.
chat is saying, but
Oh,
I
okay.
was
Sorry.
reading the chat a little bit. But yeah, like, oh, okay, you guys fight it out in the chat then. Um, but yeah, like I agree with what you're saying, and on players, I will ask everybody in the chat this question, so everybody's not um going off and battling each other. The question is, and people in the chat let me know, Allegri has been here for 3 seasons. And be realistic. You know, I know a lot of people dislike him, some do like him. So just be realistic. 3 seasons, no matter what happens, I don't think winning the Coppa Italia or not winning the Coppa Italia is going to be massive difference. How much out of 10 would you rate Allegri's second stint at this club? You know, because he came in, after Pirlo, like Sari came in to replace him, who won the league. Pirlo comes in, wins the Coppa, wins the Super Coppa. Allegri comes in. Expectations, we had 3 different squads. And here we are, 2 wins out of 15, to get into the Champions League. And we still have a Coppa Italia final to play, but I don't think that's really a difference maker in my opinion, no matter what's gonna happen. I will give him, because people know what I think, but I will give him like like a 3.5. It's been absolutely dreadful. You know, I no, I'll give him a 4. I'll give him a 4 because last season he somehow steadied the ship a little bit with whatever was happening. Points deduction, an entire board sack, points back, points deducted again. It was a complete mess. So I'll give him a 4 for that, but I cannot forget that Champions League campaign. Villarreal, or was it Villarreal? I think it was Villarreal. Then the Champions League, the following season, the Champions League campaign. The group stages, the Sevilla game at the end, the game like we should have won the Europa League. Like there are no excuses. Like all these things, boiling down to 2 wins out of 15. For me, it's been a complete disaster financially and on the pitch because I'm sitting back and I'm gonna repeat myself. What do we do well? Which players actually really improve? Because now the new coach comes in. Usually, if a coach comes in, he's like, okay, new team, I want to do my own thing, but at least that's okay. I don't know what's okay. Like, we do absolutely everything poorly. Like, we got dunked on by Maccabi Haifa, Benfica, okay, PSG, fine, but like Villarreal, like all these results. Napoli was at 5-0. Like, it's insane what happened in these 3 years. It's absolutely insane. So it's for me, excuse me. But what would you say?
I think personally, as far as rating Allegri, Allegri is a very smart person. Like in the beginning of the season, he mentioned multiple times our objective is top four. And not a single person from the management came up be like, hey, dude, what do you mean top four? Like we need to aim for a championship. We need to like I've never heard, to be honest, any team that set their standards so low.
Yep.
And I mean, for a club like Brescia or Pescara, or like, it'd be fine, be like, okay, well, we want to advance to Serie A or Serie B, whatever. But being such a top club throughout the history, like we have 100 years of history in winning Serie A, winning Champions League, and setting this goal to beat top four, I think it's like pathetic for the club, but for a coach, I mean, at the end of the day, he reached his objective. So I think just because of that, I think it'll be maybe 5. Uh, but if he didn't reach his objective, I would have given him maybe like 2 or 3, and that's just because I'm a nice person. But I think 5 would be fair to rate Allegri, is just because of those objectives. And then the I've been a Juve fan since God knows, like 97, 98. I was like
Oh
eight,
my
nine
God.
years old, and I was like a big fan of Juventus. My very first jersey was Del Piero's, like with um, retro style, and I loved it. And then I was just telling my friends, I'm like, man, I've never seen Juve being so poor. And then not just by looking at the numbers, yeah, we've been number 7 in Serie A, but
Yeah.
the style of play, the whole like zero chemistry in the team, it's just terrible. And I think it's been a very, very bad uh, degrading experience for the club as far as the play. I mean, at this point, you can bring like the toughest players in the world and put them in Juventus under Allegri. They're gonna end up like Miretti or McKennie or any other players that we currently have, or Rabiot. Like having like one season, decent season, and it's just unacceptable. I think the club should raise the standards, aim for a bigger goals, not just making to the Champions League.
Like I agree. Like my blood boiled every time I heard anyone at the club say top four, like Champions League is a goal. It wasn't Champions League. I will repeat myself. I was at the stadium for the Napoli game at home last season. Came out of the stadium, was gonna grab something to eat, and they had Sky on or DAZN, whatever it was on that day. And Allegri was speaking post game, and he said, "Next season we will compete because he sees this season it's a lot of new things, but the players will cope with things better and all those things." I was like, probably not gonna happen, but hey, you said it. And throughout the season, it changed. It changed to second place, to third place, to out whatever Champions League, even fifth place because that came into play. And I'm like, that's not okay. Even if Champions League was the goal, I hate that it came out officially. Like Champions League, finishing top four was should be default, if you know what I mean. You shouldn't be mentioning it week after week. You know, we shouldn't be mentioning, like you shouldn't be mentioning 20 minutes before kickoff, Santana are a good team, they're dangerous. We came out of that on that pitch and we actually reflected what Allegri said 20 minutes before kickoff. We came out of that pitch and we played like we were Empoli and we needed to beat Salernitana to actually stay in the league. You know, that's how we play, scared. That's how the players play. That's what I said. When a coach comes in, he will look at this and he will sit back and he will say, we do nothing well. I need to start from scratch right here. I need to start from absolutely scratch because there's nothing to build on. Like there's nothing like even players wise. Like we have had so many players, and somebody said Locatelli in the chat. People know what I think about Locatelli, but if you look at Locatelli's stats, they're great. Like I still stand by the point that he cannot play that position. Like he's doing what he can, but like he's not gonna showcase his quality in that position, especially in a team that struggles. Because he has very good moments in games, like very good defensively, very good this season. On the ball, I think he was struggling all season long. But so were many players, you know. Vlahovic, sometimes good, sometimes bad. Chiesa, not good this season. Like a lot of these players have up and down moments. Like even last season, but he had a good period, bad period. You know, all these players, Dybala, when he was still here, had a good period, had a bad period. You know, I don't agree. Like people know. I can and R&B comps. I can show you no stats that Rabiot offers a lot. I'm sorry, there are no stats for that. Like there are actually no stats for to show Rabiot is doing well. He's rubbish. Like I'm sorry, he's absolutely like he's for that money he's not good. But Locatelli, he had good games and bad games. Stats do matter a little bit. Not like it doesn't matter in terms of Rabiot scored a goal today. And people are like, and there are actually people like, oh, he saved us. Where are you guys now? Like, I'm still here. He was rubbish. He's been rubbish all season, basically, especially the second part of the season. Like, too many things. Like, what has become acceptable right now is that a player can have a good period, and it's like, you see, he's good. Like, I'm like, he's not good. Like, even McKennie, like, when the moment Allegri came out and said, you need to run in August. You need to start running in August and in July. I'm like, not even the coach respects you. I'm sorry. Because he said, like, technically you're not good enough. Like, you lack something, so you need to run. I'm like, what is this? Like, are we a football club? Or are we preparing for the Olympics? Do we have a track team out there? Like, it's... You can still call in, by the way. The link is in the chat. I will put it again. But that's been the main thing. I will ask you a final question before I try to bring somebody else in. Because we play Wednesday, the Coppa Italia. I know some are like, whatever. Like me included, I'm like, whatever. You know? Probably on Wednesday, before kickoff, I'm like, yeah, I want to win this. But do give us a shot. Because you watch Atalanta. I've watched Atalanta play Roma, you know, an hour or so ago. So do you give us any sort of shot? Locatelli suspended. Danilo will make it, said Allegri, but I'm not sure in what capacity he will be fit enough. So, what do you think for Wednesday?
Yeah, I think Atalanta, like I mentioned before, they're playing an outstanding football, in my personal opinion. But Allegri is known to confuse the opponents. Because, like, yeah, he confuses the opponents, but he also confuses our own team too. So I think they're not gonna be as dominant as they dominated today Roma. I still think they're gonna win the game. Maybe potentially they'll go through the penalty kicks, penalty shootout. But yeah, I think Atlanta is gonna win the Coppa Italia, and that I hope is gonna be the end of Allegri era in Juventus.
Okay, some are confident. I'm not confident at all. You know, he probably will play Cambiaso midfield to replace him, which you shouldn't. You just play Miretti, you know, and you shape up the, not in his position, but you shape up the formation a little bit. You know, just get the better. Like, I hate when he does these things. You know, oh, I will move you a left back or right back into midfield. Just change your formation a little bit. You know, make it work. But he has never done that this season, so he's not going to do it now. But hey, man, thanks for calling in. It was fun to chat with you, even though
Absolutely.
the circumstances are depressing.
Can I say some real quick in a
Yeah.
conclusion? And that'll probably be a question to the chat and to you too. Do you think we should extend Chiesa? And what do you think about Cambiaso? And my personal opinion on this is, I think Chiesa, even he's not having a good season, he's still one of the best players in the squad. So is Cambiaso. I think we should extend Chiesa for next like maybe 3 years.
Oh, okay.
And thank you guys.
Thanks. People in the chat can answer that question as well. I would extend Chiesa, but I agree with a 1 year deal, and then you see it out. I would, you know, unless they can give me a better option, but I doubt they can. So I would 100% extend Chiesa. I would, because I've seen things lately that he didn't lose his burst and whatever. It's just been one of those seasons everybody was poor. So I would, you know, and on Cambiaso, I was wrong. Like, he improved massively throughout the season. Even today, again, like, it's not always spot on, but you can see that he has certain attributes that you just need to appreciate, because maybe because we haven't had that for ages before Cambiaso came in, but he's done well. He's done better than I would. But I would extend Chiesa. I would. Um, but that's that. I saw a comment that I wanted to bring up, but I kind of lost it now. Um, I lost it. Yeah, I'm sorry. I saw a comment from somebody on the players level, but I lost it. So, but yeah, the season is over. Like, it's over. It's good. There's no stress in the league. We play Bologna on Monday, I think it is, and then we play Saturday against Monza. That's all about playing Diallo, basically, you know, and maybe whatever, you know, give other players a shot, I guess, not the next gen, because they're playing for Serie B football right now. So that's that. It's just Wednesday, and then it's finally over. No matter what's gonna happen in the summer, it's good that it's over. I think everybody needs a break. I think Allegri needs a break. I saw Di Marzio yesterday evening talking about Allegri's future. Because somebody asked in the chat, is he just going to take his money and stay, you know, unemployed for a year? Yes, because according to Di Marzio, absolutely nobody called Allegri to take in the job, and especially not a top club. Those were Di Marzio's words. So I think he's just gonna see it out, and I don't think he's gonna ever coach again. If I'm being completely honest, after this one, I think it's over. You know, unless he wants to take a job at a quote unquote lesser club, but I'm not so sure he wants to do that. If I'm being completely honest. Chiesa's injuries are a problem. Did he have many injuries actually this season? I kind of blanked it out. If I'm not gonna lie, like, he had niggles, but um, did he have massive injuries? To be honest, I was worried about his burst, but the last couple of weeks or so, he showed that he still had that burst. He has that burst, and he can still make the difference. It's all about confidence. Like, nobody's playing with confidence right now, and based on that, you can sell the entire squad basically. But there's still a player out there in him. Like, I think that's very obvious. But I don't think he had massive injuries this season, if I'm being completely honest. Like niggles, but a lot of players did. So I'm kind of cool with that. Injury scares maybe because he had that injury, but like real problems, I don't think he had real issues this season. You know, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, people, if nobody else is gonna call in tonight, I'm gonna wrap it up. Even though a lot of people are watching, I haven't said it, but please hit the like button. Only 20 likes, that's not good enough. So hit the like button, subscribe. I will be live back tomorrow with 2 members as always. So uh, stay tuned for that. And then it's preview to the Coppa Italia, and then it's kind of transfer mode season, because I think after the Coppa Italia they're gonna announce that it's kind of over for Allegri, so he can have, excuse me, his final uh, his final game at the stadium, I guess, at home. That way everybody knows, okay, it's official. And it's not really, oh, what's gonna happen. I think that's the way to go. After Coppa Italia, you make a note that it's over. We're gonna part ways. Season is done. Like, no need to drag it out past the Monza game. Just make it official, and just get it on. Sack the absolute bell, and now it's yeah, it was. But people, again, thanks for joining. We will have a lot of live streams, call-ins throughout the summer, because a lot of things will happen and a lot of things will not happen. So a lot of things to talk about. But yeah, that's it for me. Have a good evening or day, and I will see you guys back tomorrow evening, same time.